Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsani ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. Welcome to the Hanbali Disciples episode series. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call it, but basically, this is to help the online students because we have this new generation of students of knowledge, and they're important, and we need to take care of them, and we need to cater to them because I'm one of them also. But we are a new generation of digital nomads, digital students of knowledge, where we don't have the opportunity to go abroad or to go sit at a certain sheikh's masjid, but we have the desire to learn. And we also have access to the internet. So therefore we merge the two and we take advantage of these technologies that are available in this time and we seek knowledge using the internet. Now, this is an amazing benefit and a blessing that has been bestowed to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, it is also a test because there are definitely difficulties that arise due to this. And hopefully in today's episode, we're going to talk about these things and how to overcome them, inshallah. So let me ask you this. A man leaves his family. He sets off on a long trip. He gets on his camel, his donkey, or his horse, and he traverses miles and miles and miles through desert, through mountains, rain, sleet, snow, in order to get to a distant land that he's unfamiliar with. He knows nobody there, but he does so for one reason, and that is to seek one hadith. One hadith. Now we have many examples in our Islamic history of scholars doing such a thing, that they would go far, far away for one hadith. And of course, many for more than one hadith. Bukhari, Muslim, all of the imams of hadith, they all traveled in order to seek hadith. Our Imam Ahmad, he did the same thing. He traveled far and wide in order to gain access to hadith. Now imagine the difficulties that they went through in that time, guys. Now, I don't know about you. I rode a horse maybe twice in my life. Once when I was a very small boy, I was like maybe 4 or 5. And once when I was an older gentleman, I was maybe in my 20s or so. And neither time was very comfortable. It was not easy. And it made me realize that we're living blessed times, man, because I just jump in my car when I need to go someplace, guys. Some of you, maybe you jump on a bicycle or a scooter. And if we need to go really long distances, we got airplanes. You just pay your ticket, jump on the plane and go. You don't have to, it's very easy. You don't have to do anything. Just sit on the plane, chill, watch some news or something like that, and they'll bring you food. There's a bathroom there. It's comfortable. But in those times, it wasn't like that, guys. Imagine somebody using a donkey to travel. A donkey. I don't know. See, I'm a country dude, so I've been, around some farm animals. And I lived in Egypt for some time, man. And Egypt, Cairo is like donkey central. Donkeys everywhere. Donkeys ain't the nicest or the easiest thing to deal with at all. So imagine a person that is using a donkey in order for him to travel from Cairo to Alexandria, from Alexandria, then to Syria, and then from Syria to Iraq. That, if we had to do that now, we'd be destroyed. I don't think most people we would just stay in our cities and not travel anywhere. But those people, they did it. They did it, which shows the difference between them and us. Okay? So when we say our salaf, know that this is we're giving these people a high status, and this is, they're not no joke people. But those guys, they travel not for wealth, not for politics, not to marry. No, they went for ilm, for knowledge. Now, look at us today. Look at us today. If you want to know a hadith, you can just boom, enter. You can go to Google, Sheikh Google. Yeah, one of the most popular sheikhs of our time now. Sheikh Google, Sheikh ChatGPT, Sheikh Cloud, whatever. You can go and just type up, and it'll give you not just the hadith, but it'll give you commentary, it'll give you takhrij, it'll give you the asanid, everything that you want at the tip of your fingertips. No difficulty. Just your hand reach over and do it. No sweat off your brow, no gathering money together except for paying your internet bill. But it's a very easy thing. Now look at the difference between those two people. We're not going to compare those people that travel and they not only they spend their money to go travel these long distances, but they also are expanding or they're, what's the word I'm looking for? They are using their energy. They're getting tired. I can't think of the word. There's a word that I'm looking for and I just can't find it right now, but it's okay. But expending, there you go. They're expending their efforts, their energies in order to accomplish this. And then they're physically sitting and listening and paying attention, right? We cannot compare that person to, the bums like us who are just sitting on the couch. Yeah? We're just sitting on the couch and pressing a couple buttons and connect here, connect there, and khalas, now YouTube is we can watch videos and we can do a Zoom call to a sheikh and it's effortless. We cannot compare the two. We can't compare the two. However, the reality is for some people, this is the situation that we're in. There's some people who they want to study and we never want to use the excuse of it's too far away or I can't do it. There's always a way to if you really want something, there's always a way to get to it, especially knowledge. So for those people who are married, you're married, you have obligations, you have a family, and you cannot take time off to go and travel to Egypt or to Indonesia or to Senegal in order to sit with a certain sheikh for 2 or 3 months. Unless you got it like that, mashallah. If you got it like that, then do your thing. But most of us, we ain't got it like that. We just don't. So, mashallah, for us who have this ability that we can just go online and benefit, it's amazing. For the married man, maybe for the person he's busy with, he's a very busy businessman and he frequently travels from place to place that he cannot commit to one place at a time. This person can also seek knowledge. For the youth, young people, maybe your mom loves you so much and she's like, nah, you ain't going to no Senegal to go study and be away from me. She wants you under her watchful eye. Okay. So now you have the internet. You have that ability to study. The point is that, mashallah, there is nothing preventing us in this time from seeking knowledge. But at the same time, we should also know that just like in the days of old, it wasn't all roses. You had the fear of getting lost. They didn't have GPS trackers and all that. They were just going by, what they know of stars and the landmarks. Getting lost back in them days would be serious. Getting lost in, some serious forests and mountains and the desert. Back in those days, I don't want to have to deal with that kind of situation. Getting lost at sea. Getting attacked by lions. In Arabia, there used to be lions and stuff. There used to be lions and all kinds of ferocious beasts. Now, not so much. Just crazy people in cars. You had bandits, robbers who would wait on caravans and ambush them. So there were definitely difficulties that these people had in those days. But now, we don't have so much of the physical things that we need to worry about. We're not worried about people jumping us and robbing us or breaking into your house while you're studying. But you do have other things that you need to worry about. Distractions. And that's the number one thing that we have to focus on for those of us who have decided to take this path of digitally being students of knowledge. Now let's discuss the blessings that have been bestowed to us because we have digital access to knowledge. That in our time now, there has never been a time where so much information is available to the people. There's an abundance of information. I would almost go so far as to say that there is maybe too much information, good or bad. Overwhelmed with information. And you could have access to this thing at the snap of a finger from anywhere. So those who are physically unable to travel, you can do so from the comfort of your laptop and your chair. Another beautiful blessing of this new digital reality that we're living is, let's take YouTube. YouTube, if the sheikh comes across or discusses something that you don't quite understand, you can hit the pause button. The pause button. You can hit the pause button. You can stop. You can reflect. You can rewind it. Go over it again as many times as you want. If you were in a physical dars, could you do that? Physical lesson. You keep raising. Now, you guys all were in school. You were all in school. If you kept raising your hand asking the teacher the same question, what the teacher do? What the teacher do? You get sent out because the teacher assumes that you're trying to disrupt the class. You're trying to mess things up. People get frustrated with that. But with YouTube, you can rewind as many times as you want. Nobody gets upset. You can also, because of this blessing we have in this digital world where we live in now, physical books. Physical books. They're heavy. They're cumbersome. Sometimes difficult to attain. I've been searching for 2 books for the past 3 years. Kid you not. I've been searching for the physical copies of 3 books. No, 2 books, excuse me. 2 books for 3 years now. And I just now finally got a hold of those books, ordered them. Mashallah, a friend of mine is bringing them from Egypt in, I think, 2 weeks. But the point is this. Now, I'm an old guy, and that's why I'm going through all that, because I still like the physical. I like the physical book. Maybe some of you young whippersnappers out there, what do you call you? What do they call you? They call these guys Gen. I don't know what they call these guys. Gen Alpha, not Gen X, not millennials. The thing after millennials. I don't know. Y'all young people, yeah, you have grown up using digital copies of books and articles, and it's something that's easy for you. Okay, great, no problem. But the point is, having tons of books requires space, requires, you know, care. But when you have the digital copies, no big deal. The only limitation you have is the amount of space on whatever device that you're using in order to store those books. Blessing. Now, there's some scholars in the past that spent years trying to get access to certain scholars. Years of travel, of spending money. Maybe you travel to this one place and you miss him by a few days and you have to go. But now, mashallah, Zoom. Pick up the phone, call him. Not such a big deal. Qualified teachers are everywhere. You can have access to qualified teachers because of this new digital reality that we're living in. Mashallah, it's such a blessing. It is such a blessing. The scholars of the early generation, our Salaf, they understood the importance of knowledge. It was something that people took seriously. You know, it was mentioned that some of the scholars, that when the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was being recited, they wouldn't talk. Some people would barely breathe out of reverence for the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People really respected knowledge because they knew what it took to attain it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilma, sahalallahu lahu tariqan ila jannah." That whoever travels a path seeking knowledge, that Allah will make easy for him his path to paradise. Okay, and this is found in Muslim. So this shows you the importance of seeking knowledge. It's not a small issue. In Islamic history, we have so many examples of people who've traveled and they've been through so many hardships in order to attain knowledge. And this is something that we should continue. For those of you who are able to do so, you do so. If you're able to travel to distant lands and study with qualified scholars, you do so. But for us masakeen, us, underprivileged individuals who are not able to do so, then we use the internet to our advantage. Our Salaf, imagine the benefits that they got out of those difficult travels. Patience, humility, perseverance, All of those things. Courage. Would it not take courage for somebody to leave their home, to travel someplace far they've never seen before? You don't know what could be on the pathway. So look at all of those attributes that they embodied and they perfected, especially those who made many travels. And the most important one, I believe, would be sincerity. Because for somebody to leave the comfort of their home and family in order to travel to a distant place where peril may be around the corner, it takes sincerity for somebody to do so, especially for something that some people would say, well, what's the benefit? You can't sell it. You can't make any benefit from it. Knowledge. Knowledge. So it takes sincerity for a person to take off physically to go and seek knowledge. And that's an extremely important attribute for a person to cultivate. For us in these modern times, we have issues that we need to face when we're studying online. We have issues of humility that we need to conquer. We have issues of forbearance. We have to struggle. We have to not only face these issues, but overcome them. For us, our difficulty isn't measured in miles. It's not measured in the amount of dust that gets caught up in our beards or hair for those who don't have beards. It's not measured in this, but it will be measured in distractions. And that's a reality that we face today, are the distractions. Are you going to have the fortitude to ignore all those sounds that mean a notification came in? Are you going to be able to resist your phone just sitting right over? How many? My phone's there. Are you going to be able to resist not looking over at the phone to see if somebody called, if there was a message? Are you going to be able to focus? Now, I have the problem of having so many tabs open at once. That's my fitna. So you're doing one thing, and under the guise of multitasking, are you going to get distracted? That's the fitna that we as digital students are facing today. Because of this, we need structure. We need structure. You cannot just approach your studies in a haphazard, disorganized, chaotic fashion. You need structure. And being that we're students of the Hanbali madhab, walhamdulillah, we have examples of our scholars definitely making it clear to us that we need structure in our studies. If you look at Ibn Qudama, rahmatullah alayh, he has a very unique, very structured curriculum for fiqh for us to study. It starts with Umdat al-Fiqh, which only gives one mu'tamid position in the madhab. Then you move on to al-Muqni', then you move on to al-Kafi, and then al-Mughni. Each one of those books serves a particular purpose and must be done in that particular order in order for you to fully benefit. Now, the test, the fitna, would be that somebody would think, oh, let me just jump to al-Mughni. Yeah? Let me just jump in there with the big boys and get in there. Nah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because you don't have the foundation. You don't have the foundation. And I'm just mentioning Ibn Qudama with one, that's one curriculum in the Hanbali madhab. There's others. You could start with Akhsar and Mukhtasarat, or you could start with Bidayat al-Abid, and then you move on to Umdat al-Talib or Umdat al-Talib or Dalil al-Talib, and then you move on to Zad al-Mustaqna, and on and on and on. Okay, so structure is there. Structure is there. Even in Aqidah, you start with Lumat al-I'tiqad or Najat al-Khalaf first, and then Lumat al-I'tiqad, and then you move on to Qala'id al-Iqyan, and then you move on to Bidayat al-Mubtadi'een. Okay, we have structure, and then we can move on to the books of Imam Safarini. There's structure. You can't just approach things in a crazy way. Now, that's regarding curriculum, but also regarding your time, space, attention. You need to give that structure. It is best if you pick one spot, one designated place for you to approach your studies. You take one designated place, that's where you study. You do nothing else there. That's very important. And you make sure everybody else in the family knows this is my spot. Don't come here piling up your books or your toys or whatever. No, this is my spot for study. Got to make that clear. Time. Structure your time. It's not good to just say, whenever I have time, I'm going to do it. You know what's going to happen? Because it's never going to come. Free time like that is never going to come because you'll be busy with other things and your mind is not going to be thinking about studying. So if you're a parent, we all know the best time to study is when those kids go to sleep. Okay? So if you're a husband, if you're a wife, when the children and the spouse goes to sleep, that's when you pick up your books. Now, what does this mean? It means that there's sacrifice, that you're going to be losing some sleep that you could be getting. And this is the difference. This is the reason why you decided to be talib al-ilm. You are not the same as those people who just want to be regular. You have taken up the mantle, the khirqa of talib al-ilm, seeking knowledge. So yes, we are going to sacrifice our sleep and our time. It's okay. It's okay. The reward in the end is worth it. Your digital space, whatever device that you're using, if you could focus just on the one screen that you need. Now, I mentioned before, okay, I'm a very honest person, okay. I am a million tab kind of guy. That's just, I don't know if I can change that. I've tried. It's just something in my mind. I just can't. I have multiple tabs open. But one thing I try to do is that if I'm studying for a particular thing and I need these three tabs open, then I'm going to focus on these three tabs. And another strategy that I use sometimes is that depending on what I'm studying, I have different profiles set up so that those tabs are already open for that particular subject that I'm trying to study. Guys, organization is important. It is important. Otherwise, we're going to be wasting time. It is so easy. Wallahi, I know. It is so easy to get distracted. And 5 minutes turns into 2 hours. It is so easy to get distracted like this. And this is the battle that we must fight. The battle of distractions. Notifications come in and people calling. Now, as we come to the end of this particular video, I have a question that I want you to ask yourself. Whenever you engage in studies and you're coming to the end of your study or you finish your studies, I want you to ask yourself, what actually did I learn? And did this thing that I learned today, is it making me a better person? Am I able to apply whatever I learned to the betterment of my life? This way, you know whether you wasted your time or not. There are many times, and listen, guys, I'm honest. I listen, I'm an open book. I tell you, there are times when I've studied and I've been reading something and I know that I've read this page 5 times. I've read it 5 times and understood nothing. There have been times when I've watched a video. I've watched hour and 30 minutes of video 5, 6 times, and my mind has blanked out a few times and I did not fully absorb the video. It happens. It happens. So when you ask yourself at the end, what did I learn? What did I benefit from this? And can I apply this, whatever it is I learned, can I apply it to the betterment of my life? If you come up with no's, then you have a few options in front of you. Either you need to review how you're approaching your studies, or you need to check your intention. One of the two, okay? And perhaps both. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to check both. It doesn't hurt. Now, one concrete thing that I would like you to take away from our particular conversation today. For those of you who are new to digital study, I want you to take one course. Just take one course. Focus on that one course. Take notes. Focus. absorb the information with the highest concentration that you can. No distractions, no hopping to another course, no getting distracted and getting on Facebook, or I'm telling my age, or Snapchat or whatever it is. Just focus on that one course. See if you can do it for the first day. You get the first day right, go to the second day, then the third. And if there's a day where it messes up, it's okay. You can always come back and try again. It's okay. For those of us veterans, for those veterans of the digital world of study, focus on whatever it is you have studying. So you may have multiple classes that you have. Focus on those multiple classes. Focus on your curriculum. And don't stray outside of that curriculum. Focus on that. And ask yourself, just like I said with the previous, what did I learn from these classes today? What can I extract and make applicable to my life right now? If you don't have an answer, it means you've been wasting your time and you need to go back to the drawing board and try again. So I leave you with that, guys. As usual, I always say smile, stay classy, have a good day.